Hey everyone, as always, Dylan Miller Prospecting, and today we're going to be talking about an organized group of burglars who broke into a gold refinery and stole over $250,000 worth of gold. Or is this just a scam to get people to donate to a GoFundMe page? Now, on September 26, I happened to log onto Facebook and saw two posts by David, the owner of Prospector Gold and Gems, making a plea for people to donate to his GoFundMe page due to a burglary the night before. And I will let you listen to his two Facebook posts right here.
The most horrible thing has happened. The best thing anyone can do is to share and donate. Please share. It is with a heavy heart and great sadness I must report that Sunday night while celebrating my birth my shop was burglarized. They came in through the roof. 6 sets of rope were found. It was clearly an organized crime hit. They dropped in and cut holes in the walls, and took everything of value. Broke open the safe, and I am not left with almost nothing. This unfortunately not only hurts myself, my employees, but also dozens of customers whose jobs and materials are now gone. People's wedding bands to scrap they were having made into new things, and product orders that were in process. The raw materials to manufacture, all gone, taken by cowards who are evil by their nature. All thieves are. It is unknown whether they will ever be caught, but my general insurance does not cover this sort of break-in and theft due to technicalities of the type of safe I had. Total BS. But those who have ever had to deal with insurance know they never want to pay out on anything. Specialized insurance had lapsed unknown to me because of a change in bank accounts a year ago. Thank had to be changed due to false checks written off my bank account that got cashed. I want to help my clients that have been victimized. Repair and upgrade security. We will continue to fulfill all orders and new orders obviously and work to fill those affected by this loss. We will not give up, but we will keep moving forward. We may do some recognizing, so if anyone can help out it's much appreciated. Please share and donate if one can. This is for the people victimized by this tragedy whose number is in the dozens. Together as a community we can help all who lost out due to this tragedy, and also in time it can be paid back, as I will take care of these people one way or another as it was under our care. But anyone who can help with this heartbreaking loss, it is much appreciated. Obviously the next few days will be very chaotic for us, but please be understanding and supportive. Thank you, David. No, my account was not hacked. We were robbed. They cut holes in the roof. They made off with a massive haul of gold that belonged to multiple clients we were working on. They avoided the doors. They knocked holes in the roof and walls. Police found multiple sets of ropes where they scaled the building, then cut through the roof. They took half-finished bars, casting grain, some finished jewelry and a handful of finished bars. I have been very busy dealing with police and filling out paperwork and accounting or what was missing. Good news is they didn't get away with much silver. The bucket they filled must have been too heavy. Sadly they did damage a lot of boxes, coins in the process of ripping them from packaging. For those who are affected we are going to take care of them the best we can and are able. Despite this massive hit I appreciate all who have been helping out. I am sorry I can't answer the phone for all the calls I have been getting. Most people have been cool and understand that we will take care of them the fastest and best way possible. But it's a massive hit that is not easy to overcome. For those who can help I will pay back. Good news is we have payment coming from copper recycling from a different business I own. And the other good news is we are making headway with the state of Colorado on the illegal shutdown they ordered against our environmental cleanup of mine tailings. It will likely be just a few weeks before that can finally get going again. I had a lengthy call with the smelter today on finalizing our contract, and from that point we will literally be golden. Anything containing gold or economic value we can ship and get paid for. Finally, including or for others, as we are working to be a collection point for others. Although this is exciting news, the tragedy is this horrible theft that has left us in a very bad situation. I can't say how horrible it's been to be sitting on a vast resource of gold and not be able to do anything with it, to no being able to move all of it. In any case, I am doing my best to keep depression at bay. To be able to survive this, make everyone square despite the losses. However, if anyone decides to do anything rash it will force prospectors into bankruptcy. People who are patient will absolutely be taken care of. My plan is to keep doing business and get people taken care of in the best of my ability, to get our smelter materials shipped, sold and collected, and get people paid back. This includes those who have had a loss, or have other funds owed by other arrangements, deals, etc. Within a year, based on the worst numbers, everything is fine. I have gone years working at break even on the mine work. I am okay not taking a pull off it for more time while we get people taken care of. It is greatly appreciated those who have been able to help with the support they have given today. It's a drop in the bucket, but many drops do fill buckets. Hopefully I am not murdered by anyone upset due to this horrible event happening. I understand it's a rotten situation, because we got robbed by rotten people. But all I can do is do my best as we move forward through this tragedy. Thank you for reading this and helping out.
After reading both of those posts, I had a lot of nagging questions about things that didn't make sense to me, so I went to his GoFundMe page to see if maybe he had answered some of those questions there. And here is that GoFundMe page.
My name is David and I have been running a small business that recycles precious metals and turns it into coins and bars that are loved by many, as well as made custom wedding bands and other items of beauty that are loved by many. In a heartbreaking event in the middle of the night on September 25th, ironically on my birthday, organized criminals broke into the business. 6 of them cut holes in the roof and cut through walls, and dropped in, broke open the safes and took everything. Most of what was stolen did not belong to us but other customers. That was in our care, as we provide the processing services for others. Multiple people and their families are now victims of this theft. Theft like his is a literal rape and invasion of everything one has. Gone in an instant and taken by evil people. It is important to be able to take care of all these people who have been victimized, because they did not do anything wrong. Unfortunately, we offer fair and reasonable prices so we don't make a huge profit off what we do. So making up the loss is very difficult. I want to raise the funds to cover these people back and repair the damages to the business. Unfortunately, insurance will not cover this. In fact, it's impossible to get insurance that covers this sort of thing, because precious metals are not covered. So I am in a position where I can go out of business or keep moving forward. Going forward will be the best and most responsible thing to do. But this amount that has been taken is more than anyone can cover themselves. I want to be able to take care of the people who were selling or getting work done because they are the victims of this. And I value what is doing what is right for them. So this is to help them, not me. I am asking for help in order to help these people who were working with me to get them covered, as they had to send these materials to me for a reason to help them financially. They should not have to be subject to this, nor should anyone. But I want to help mitigate the damages from this horrible nightmare that has happened. Some funds will be used to also add additional security and repair damages, the majority going to the victims. I am at a loss as to what to do besides turn to the community for help so we don't have to close down for good. And I want to be able to put this horrible nightmare behind us and continue offering the services and loved products we make and manufacture. Our services provided jobs and much needed services for many. Any help is greatly appreciated, and if and when we can pay back we will. Thank you for helping the dozens of people affected by this tragedy. David.
Now, even after that, I was still left with a lot of questions, including why wouldn't insurance cover these losses, so I started reading the comments to see if maybe it had been answered, and this is one of the comments where David answered that exact question, and in those comments, he also posted some pictures of the burglary. So here's those comments.
The general insurance does not cover what was lost. The insurance I had lapsed. My general insurance doesn't cover. My specialty insurance lapsed a year ago and I was not aware of the lapse. Even my auto insurance lapsed and I didn't realize until I went to register my car. That has caused a lot of chaos.
David also made a third post on Facebook on the 27th, and I will let you listen to that one here.
What a battle. I am desperately trying to stay from depression. Fortunately, we are starting to resume business again. Lots of work with police and forensic units. Personally, it's hell. I feel so violated. I need to immediately dispel the rumors that we can't supply new orders or old. The silver was found. They couldn't lift the bucket as it was too heavy. So that is a good thing. The gold orders that were in progress is what is affected, and some damaged tools and equipment. This does not mean that we don't process and work all new orders coming in and fill orders going out. The people whose orders were affected have been told a plan and everything is cool except a couple people who are making completely unreasonable threats. Those people affected will get little bits taken care of as we can to ensure they get what is due to them in time. The people were upset as well. I am upset as well, obviously. The outpouring of help and assistance has been tear-jerking. It's so helpful and kind in order to ensure we make it through this and help those victimized by this tragedy. I am hopeful there can be a recovery, but with every passing hour I fear it is less likely. I am so appreciative of those who have given what they can. More is needed, of course. A lot more. I do have a plan to ensure everyone gets paid up for the losses. I am not going to say sorry, they are just out of luck. It was under my care and watch. Sadly, I was taken advantage of. It's horrible. I may have been taken advantage of and victimized, but I also have several big deals moving forward at the moment. Deals that will cover all the losses, and launch the company into a new level. In fact, this is one of the few things that's giving me hope right now. Work on some big projects that actually be life-changing. More on that as it happens, but in the meantime I wanted to spell any rumors that we are not able to do anything or get anybody taken care of. I always get people taken care of, sometimes it's later than expected. Life happens.
Now, even with all that information, I still had my doubts about this $250,000 burglary and if it really happened, which brings me to why I'm making this video. One of the things David wrote was that now he's turning to the community for help, so I decided to make this video to share my thoughts and opinions about this whole thing for the community, because one of the great things about communities is they tend to try and help each other out. However, there are also always those people who try to take advantage of a community for their own benefit, thus this video. But before I dig into this too much further, I need you to read this disclaimer. And just in case you didn't read that, it says that the statements made in this video by me are just my own personal opinions and should not be construed as facts. They're just my opinion. So please come to your own opinions on this story. So after reading all of the posts made by David on Facebook and GoFundMe, as well as listening to hours and hours of his replays on the auction app Whatnot, where David holds live auctions, here are some of the questions I had about this burglary that seemed really puzzling to me. So let's go over each one of these questionable things, as well as my opinion on them, and maybe my questions will make you question this whole story. Number 1, David showed very little in the way of proof to verify this burglary other than 3 grainy photos, and yet is asking people to donate $300,000 to a GoFundMe. Where's the police report, photos from outside, buckets of silver left behind, etc., etc.? The more proof someone posts, the more believable a story is. The less they post, well, I'll let you decide on that. Number 2, he says the burglars climbed up onto the roof with ropes as well as rappelled down into the business with ropes. My question, were these burglars or was this Batman and Robin? He mentioned multiple times on Whatnot that they climbed up onto the roof. How? Did they lasso a steam vent or did they use grappling hooks? This just does not sound plausible to me at all. Elite burglars or even bad burglars would not climb up a building with grappling hooks. They would just bring a ladder. It seems like someone has been watching way too many movies. Number 3, it's stated, and in the pictures he shows that the burglars cut 2 holes in the metal ceiling. And again, I have to ask why. Why wouldn't they have just cut 1 hole? Why spend twice as much time and make twice as much noise making double the amount of holes? It just does not sound plausible. And when things don't sound plausible, they usually aren't. Number 4, David says he was working with the police and forensics on the crime and how the ropes were confiscated for forensics. In my opinion, somebody's been watching way too many CSI shows because this is not what cops do. Cops very, very rarely, if ever, do forensics on burglaries unless DNA can be acquired from things like blood. They wouldn't save ropes for forensics, in my opinion. Number 5, he mentions multiple times on Facebook as well as on Whatnot how the good news is that they didn't steal his silver. Which to me just doesn't sit right. How he's happy about his stuff not getting stolen and yet his customer's stuff was. Just seems weird that he's happy $10,000 wasn't stolen, but $250,000 was. It's almost like this is an excuse on how he can keep selling silver on his auctions after a burglary. Number 6, the insurance claims. First, he says his insurance wouldn't cover it due to the type of safe he had. Then on GoFundMe, he says it's impossible to get insurance to cover this due to it being a precious metal. Then later goes on to say his specialized insurance, which would have covered this, had lapsed. Now, I'm going to leave this one till later, but don't worry, we're coming back to this one. And number 7, it was said a few times that the safe was broken into by the burglars. But on one of his Whatnot shows, I believe it was in October, he says that it wasn't latched and not broken into. And my reply, is this possibly why the insurance wouldn't cover it, because the safe wasn't locked? Or is this just another case of inconsistencies in this story? And lastly, number 8, on Whatnot, he talks a lot about how he thinks the burglary was an inside job. More specifically saying he thinks he was burglarized by the customer who had the biggest loss. And he mentions this on multiple live shows, saying that the only people that knew he had a large amount of gold was him and this buyer. He even goes on to say the customer called him on the 25th wanting to know where his gold was. And David says he needed another week to fulfill the second half of this customer's order. And how that shows it must have been the customer who robbed him. Even though this customer had never been to the store and he had never met David, he still thinks that it was an inside job by this customer. My reply, how is this an inside job? And to me, in my opinion, if a customer is calling asking about his six-figure order, it's probably because it's late, and then you're wanting to delay it. Does not make it an inside job. Obviously, he wouldn't be calling if the order was on time. This seems to look like David was late with the order, which points more to David robbing himself to get out of a shipment, in my opinion. In fact, right after he claims his customer might have done the robbery, he says, "It's not like I would rob my own business. How would that work?" and then laughs. And I'll leave you to think about that. Somebody who says they were just robbed for $250,000 is joking about them robbing themselves. So those were the 8 things I saw as red flags, but here are a few things I had questions about that weren't mentioned or didn't seem to have happened. Number 1, the news didn't pick up on this story. David did say in one of his Whatnot episodes he didn't want to involve the news, and that's why it wasn't being reported. And in my opinion, that doesn't make sense. News reporters don't wait for stories to come to them. They don't wait for you to report them. They read the daily police reports to find them. Number 2, no reward was offered. Again, like with the news, this just seems weird. Now, previously, Croissant Mine, Arizona Gold Lady, they were both robbed. And in both of those cases, the news picked up on the stories and rewards were offered. I'm not sure why David wouldn't want to offer a reward or have more people looking into this story. And lastly, number 3, and this is the big one to me, the burglary didn't show up on the Fort Collins online police reports where this burglary supposedly happened. You can actually go to Fort Collins police website and see an interactive map showing all the reported crimes from any specific dates. And I searched from the 24th through the 27th. In fact, I did a much broader range, but then I narrowed it down to the 24th through the 27th, and only 4 burglaries were reported, 3 residential, and a school. Now, do I think this whole burglary story is true? I honestly don't know. What I do know is that there are way too many red flags, too few facts, a lot of inconsistencies, and just too many things that don't make sense. My own personal opinion is this is either 100% fake and this was just an elaborate story to get out of paying a large debt to customers, or it was a small burglary that was exaggerated to again get out of a large amount of debt to customers. I honestly don't believe $250,000 was stolen. Another thing that makes me doubt this whole story is part of what he said on his second post on Facebook. And here, let me flash that part up to you and I'll read it. "My plan is to keep doing business and get people taken care of in the best of my ability, to get out smelter materials shipped, sold, and collected, and get people paid back. This includes those who have had a loss or have funds owed by other arrangements, deals, etc." This to me sounds like now he is using the burglary to not pay off other debts owed as well, which again is a red flag and puts the whole burglary story in doubt. So while I don't know if this whole story is true or half of it or none of it, what I do know is I personally would never ever buy or sell any gold or precious metals to David, since based on his posts, he takes zero accountability or responsibility for any of this. For example, with his insurance policy, remember number 6, he takes zero responsibility for it having lapsed the previous year, even though he realized 2 months prior to the burglary, his car insurance had lapsed for the exact same reason. Somehow he didn't notice he wasn't paying an insurance bill for a full year, and then when he found out his car wasn't insured, he still didn't look for his specialty business insurance and make sure it was being paid. He also claims he never got a letter or anything from the insurance company telling him his policies had lapsed. But it's your own responsibility to make sure your insurance is up to date. Again, zero accountability. Another thing is, David says in his post he can either stay in business or repay his customers and go bankrupt, and he has chosen to stay in business and keep moving forward. I just don't see how this is fair to his customers. His customers should be made whole. It's 100% on David that this wasn't covered by insurance, in my opinion, so he should take responsibility and cover them regardless of his own outcome. If he makes them whole and he goes bankrupt, then that's a lesson for him to learn. For all he knows or we know, some of these customers might be going bankrupt due to his failures. If I was to buy or sell precious metals to a company, I would want to know that not only are they insured, but they keep track of things like if they have insurance or not. And then if something did still happen, they would take care of me and not themselves first. David, in my opinion, has chosen to make sure he is whole before any of his customers. So I won't ever be buying or selling to Prospector Gold and Gems. I won't be donating to his GoFundMe page, and I don't believe his story. But that's just my opinion. And I might be 100% wrong, and this video might be 100% wrong. These, again, are just my opinions. But you can make your own decisions, and I hope everyone will make their own decisions based on the facts that they've seen. But that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, happy panning, and if you're not already a subscriber, think about hitting that subscribe button below.